When we came as a party, we said that the Estonian political system is in stagnation. We can see a lot of conflict inside of the system. We have still the same powers that struggled 30 years ago. There are a lot of history load behind them. So we need new force, new people, new ideas and new energy. What we see in Europe, and I think Europe is stuck, is also in terms of European Union itself as an institution. I don't mean here as an idea, but as an institution. It's a little bit stuck in this institutionalization. It just has been growing and growing institutionally quite a lot. And I think it's time now to really reform it, to have a look at it, because I think partly this is what made Britain angry, and partly that's what makes other member states angry, because there's a lot of institutions, a lot of regulations that nobody really understands what they're for. I would take this large policy area, and I think this is economy. I think European economies, let's put it this way, it's still European economies, it's not one huge economy. They need not a plan, but they need ideas how to be competitive along Asia that is really growing, how to be competitive with aging population, with actually decreasing population in some parts of Europe, which is a periphery of Europe is decreasing, center of Europe is doing more or less fine, but still aging. So economic ideas and ideas for the global market. I think economy is very crucial. But of course, the issue that we all need to seriously deal with is migration. To grow economically, yes, that's what we need. We need labor migration, and here is also the question for Europe to have a very smart talent attraction strategy. There are some European countries that are very good at doing this, but there are lots of European countries that are not very good at doing this. But if some countries are good at attracting talents, the others are not, then economy-wise, Europe in general is not winning much. Definitely not in further institutionalization and regulation of Europe more. So this is definitely that EST 200 would never stand for. Rather, actually, de-institutionalizing Europe a bit more and bringing it on a level of ideas and values. And for that, we need to have a more mobility among people living in Europe. We have to have more economic, cooperation, and more, actually also the economic, equality for the peripheral regions, because if we see this populist and right-wing popularity in Central Eastern Europe, that also has a very serious economic background there. I don't think citizens need to actively, constantly participate in politics. It's something that they cannot do, because they need to go on with their daily life, they need to do their businesses, they need to work, they need to teach and educate their kids. So you can't all the time be active on a political level. So I'm not a big believer in direct democracy, so I'm a big believer in representative democracy. But what I don't like, and what is happening and what is undermining the legitimacy of the EU in member states in general, is that the politicians are using and abusing EU as an excuse for certain political fights where actually EU is not at fault. And that's what we saw in Brexit. That's what we really saw in Brexit. We can see it in Estonia with the right-wing populist parties where they really target EU for the sins and problems that are not created by the EU. So I think this should be challenged. This kind of a legitimacy, undermining legitimacy of EU, should be challenged seriously. I would go to this deregulation, like keeping, moving 2 steps back. That's why I'm not very big fan of Macron's recent proposal to political forces in Europe, where he argued that Europe needs a new agency. I don't think Europe needs a new agency. Europe needs new energy.